Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the finest Dawn of War Unification casts this side of East Yorkshire. And today I've got a 1 versus 1 on Fata Morga. Playing as the Orks, we've got Kubini, and playing as the Black Templars, we have got Vrax. Vrax is going to be opening up with double Crusaders and a Stronghold Barracks, whereas the Orks are going to go for double Slugger Boys, a Grot Squad, War Banner, and a Boys Hut. So from what I understand, Vrax has rolled random with the Black Templars, so I'm not entirely sure how comfortable he is with these guys, but they kind of play a little bit similar to how a regular old Space Marine faction would work, except they're a little bit more close combat oriented, I would have to say. Crusaders very strong in the early game, wonderful melee units, able to equip themselves with all manner of close combat shenanigans as well as some neophytes, just for the additional cannon fodder. After all, the Black Templars, once they start losing models, they do start to increase in strength, so those protracted and prolonged combats are going to be in their favour. So if the Orcs want to take care of them nice and quickly, they want to get that DPS as high as humanly possible. They're not going to be grinding these guys down anytime soon. Going to go for their big mech, which is a fairly standard thing for the Orcs to do. I imagine, given the two major openings for the Orcs, I mean, you can either go for your double shooters and go straight into big shooters, or you can save that and go for Storm Boys. I imagine the Shooter Boys are probably the way forward in this engagement. Go and see a Castellan coming out. Good unit for, well, good hero for the, whatever you call them, the Black Templar. I don't know which Oath they've gone for. There's 4 different Oaths that the Black Templar can take before they get their Castellan out. It's, or what they call it, it's like Oath of Kill the Witch, Burn the Something, Rah Rah Rah, we hate everything that isn't human. So essentially, it's just like a different bunch of buffs that you can have as a passive for your entire army. And I do believe that one of them is like tougher units, or do more damage in close combat. I do believe it's probably going to go for one of those two. There's another one that's good against Psychers, but you're not going to go for the Psyker Earth when you're going up against Orcs, because, I mean, they've got the Weird Boy, and that's not really a mainstay in many build orders or compositions for the Orcs. Castellan and Big Mech having the exact same idea, going to be assaulting each other's base at the same time, but the Crusader squad, Command Squad, sorry, now out, which will be quite difficult for the Big Mech to deal with if he's tussling with them. He's going to try to ignore them and focus on the Templar Artificer. Castellan having a bit of a bash on that, but then seeing that Big Mech at home, will decide to walk his way back in defense. Relic being captured by the Black Templars. Look at the range of this blooming laser for this Templar Artificer. Been whirled away by the pistol of the Big Mech. There we go, Crusaders. Turn around and aid your comrade. Your brother in arms. They will turn back around and now tie this guy up. Big Mech gives him the backhand. By exclusively giving out the backhands. He's not messing around, this kid. Castellan will come in for support. And 1v1, oh dear, that Tech Marine going down, spilling his guts across the floor. And now it's a bit of a chase-on-chase action. Crusaders not really tanking the damage all that well. Need to get those neophytes to absorb some of that damage if they want to live for any particular length of time. Look at that speed. There we go. He's almost catching up with him. It's like a day at the races. And then, oh, he's just going to leave him. Fair enough. And the... bit anticlimactic, but there we go. Such is the way of the chaotic nature of PvP combat. Commander Squad now going to come in and see what they can add to this fury. Big Mech now finding himself a little bit like a fish out of water. Might want to teleport away from all this. He's not going to gain much. He is trying to keep on with those Crusaders. One Crusader does go down. Shooter Boy's now moving in. And going to see what they can achieve. Firing away at these guys. Well, he's trying to fire away at these guys. For some reason those guys weren't really in on it. Is this just a pacifist game at the moment? Very odd unit behaviour going on here. There we go, Command Squad losing one model, but they don't mind. They're getting involved all the same. Putting themselves with an apothecary. So that will keep them in good stead, being inspired to greater feats of combat through their dead comrades. And the shooter boys unable to really get a good firing line off these guys. Slugger boys in the corner. Clan of the Bad Moons looking for those teeth. And rather than chasing off these guys, they're going to switch their pistols. Because their pistols don't do terrible damage, all things considered. Over on this side, we do have the Initiates and the Crusade squad capturing this critical location. And what's the economy at the moment? 92 and 10 compared to 80 and 20. Tier 2 going for the Black Templars. And Tier 2 for the Orks already popping. We will watch more or less exclusively from the Orc position because, I don't know if you can tell, but the blooming plumage on the hood of the Black Templars is rather gross. I mean, it's pretty, but just gets in the way, man. Gets in the way. Yeah, this command squad ain't going nowhere. Looking like it's going to try and take out both units at the same time. One dude dying on the charge in. Castellan adding his melee prowess into this. Big Mech, once again, not in the best position. Definitely wants to stay out of combat for as long as he can. And now that they've got the big shooters online, command squad is going to have to fall back. Crusaders over here. Looking like that maybe their efforts in capturing this critical location will be all for naught. Got a banner out. Increasing the morale regeneration, I do believe, of the command squad. Guys are going to turn around and see if they can keep those shooter boys from not shooting. But sadly not. Against this massive shooter boys, they've managed to... I mean, what? One squad is now... Oh, these just slugger boys. No, there we go. There are shooter boys in there. They got two big squads of shooter boys. And not much really to answer for it. They've got double Crusaders, so they can, if they want to, go in for all these squads and tie them all up, but these guys are seemingly exclusively on capping duty. There we go, turn these boys around and get involved. Because at the very least, when the shooter boys are retreating backwards, they're not firing at you, and you are able to fire with your pistols at them. Going to be getting some flamers on these guys. Which is great, as Orks are not well renowned for high morale when they're in smaller numbers. Crusaders trying to target this big mech, and every time a unit from the command squad dies, the corpse is picked up by a Thunderhawk? Thunderfirehawk? Ah, Thunderhawk, there we go. Comes in, picks up the boy, and then... Oh, is that just a Castellan? I don't know, whoever died then, they get a VIP trip back home. And the Thunderhawk adds a little bit of heavy bolter fire in there just for good measure. But yeah, good spreading out of these shooter boys. If you keep your lads spread out, you are unlikely to have both squads tied up by one melee unit, so nice stuff there. Although this listening post could be doing with a bit of an upgrade, just to help for the defensive purposes. We are going to see a mech shop, but only 2 generators online at the moment, so not going to see that much in the way of vehicles coming out as of yet. Before you tech up into vehicles, you kind of want to have a little bit of green money saved up, just so you can go straight into those lads. Go for some tank busters, so I imagine they've... I mean, they'll probably be anticipating some vehicular nonsense. Got some war gear bionics and power weapons going for Vrax on the south side. Not really looking at any of these vehicles. He's just focusing on getting these Crusaders to the best that they can be. Still just relying on those 2 squads of Crusaders and the command squad. Not really committing to any particular kind of composition as of yet. But Vrax in a bit of a sticky situation at the moment. The Black Templar need to do a little bit of harassment, a little bit of damage early on in the game just to use that tier 1 power that they have. But it's not going to... I mean, the Orks are doing quite well. I mean, yeah, okay, they're a bit behind on the green money department, but they're doing fine for now, and they've got these double tank buster squads just walking into the base, infiltrate as well. Not sure if Vrax has got any infiltration detection. He will just commit to this and decide to move all these guys over here. Double war banners, trying to upgrade themselves with some big gun add-ons, which will help them if they're able to stay up. But we do have double missile launchers on the command squad. Wonderfully versatile unit, this. Then deciding to take those missile launchers and bash them over the skull of this war banner. Best kind of melee or missile launcher is the melee launcher. One war banner does go down. Orks now back into tier 1, sorry. And the command squad taking these guys on. One listing person being taken down by the tank busters. Are going to see a skull probe out. Skull probe needs to kind of join the Crusaders just to make sure they can't be targeted down. Command squad over here. Looks like one squad of Crusaders have been destroyed. Oh dear, the banner has fallen. And the Thunderfire... No, so not the Thunderfire, Jesus. The Thunderhawk. There's too many units with too many similar names in this game. I'm writing a formal letter of complaint to the Adeptus Astartes. Be more creative with your namings, please. Tambus is now moving back over here. They have decided to stop bashing things as they are now being seen by the Skull Probe. And even if they're not bashing up buildings, their missiles do knock lads over, which overall reduces the DPS of a squad for a small amount of time, which is fair enough. So we've got... Well, we're now lacking one Crusader squad. What is your plan, Vrax? You have gone for a machine cult. Have you got the green money for it? You're still kind of in a similar situation as the Orks. But we'll go for that Sword Brethren squad, which are like Crusaders on steroids. Very tanky, very damaging. More war banners being stuck up, approaching that tier 3 mark. The Crusaders, seeing an opportunity here, are going to start striking down this relic listing post. Orks are moving forward. The light of the Emperor shining down upon these Crusaders. Grenadier going down. Oh, there we go. That's what we want to see. When they're all blobbed up together, going down this narrow passageway. Orks are going to jump into the mech shop over there, just to keep them safe and sound. But unlike the Imperial Guard, when they go inside the building, they don't really add to all that much damage. Second grenade going off. The killer cannon trying to come out. And walkers are sometimes not the best thing to go for when it comes to picking your vehicles, but these guys being primarily close combat units, having a close combat walker to get them involved, it's not a terrible choice. Although I do feel so that he's only got one arm. Must be really difficult to hug people in the killer can. Quite a lonely existence. There we go, the Sword Brethren coming in with plasma guns, or plasma pistols, sorry. Flowing capes as well. But losing the morale, oh dear, that's a less than inspiring entrance into the battlefield here. But there are a significant amount of Space Marine boys now. Tin can humies, as the Orks would say. Sure, boys are getting some good shots in, but Command Squad's Command Squad and the Sword Brethren are very tanky lads. Crusaders, on the other hand, though, not the same. I think they've gone down. I assume. Oh no, they're still there. Fighting fit. Half the squad being more or less neophytes at this point. Got a land speeder coming in, but will be shored up by these tank busters if they're not careful. There we go. Flying away. Killer can picking up one lad. Scissoring him with a power claw. And there we go, the double scissor. That's not what you want to see on a Sunday morning. Or any morning for that particular matter. Got a custom gadgets research on the go. So the big mech will be able to zap any gubbins coming from the Black Templar. Crusader squad coming out to replace the Sword Brethren. Oh, this poor Crusader here. Initiate with his power fist. There we go. Get involved. They're now able to see him with the skull probe. Giving this Ork an uppercut. But yeah, I mean, not sure if this composition is going to work. We've seen them try a couple of times now, invading the Ork base. And it's these shooter boys, man. If you leave them in the back lines, they're just able to take these guys down. Not incredibly quickly, but quick enough. But they've got no big mech at the moment. The big mech's been taken down, even though that custom gadgets research has been done. Are you getting your big mech? That is the question. No, but you are getting your tier 3. So I mean, flash kits, that's probably the natural way of going about this. Killer can for screening. Tank busters for knockback. And crowd control. And shooters for the Dakar. So the Black Templars are going to have to be a little bit fancier with their footwork here. I imagine just to try... I mean, even if they do go for something like a Razorback, the tank busters will take them on, so... I assume they need to kind of mirror what the Orks are doing with... You know, they've got their frontline kind of things going on, but they also need some range support as well. So while they're moving around tying things up, or at least making things move so they're not firing, then they've got like a general range squad just to do damage over time. Killer can be a real nuisance. Not a vibe from the Black Templars' point of view. Command squad losing their will to live. Crusader squad as well, also falling foul with their numbers. Only 2 left in the squad. And the numbers are thinning out quite considerably. We will need something more substantial, but that killer can does go down. Crusader squad over here. Rejoin the fray. Big mech. A brand new fresh one. Fresh from the fridge, fresh from the pack. Coming out to zap some doofers. And a skull probe getting... Probably needs some eye testing done if he needs to get that close to see him. But the tank busters are revealed. The big mech is now in the middle. And being instantly killed. That was a good surround by that command squad. Very tasty, I do have to say. Tank busters trying to kill this Thunder Hawk, but it will be gone soon, boys. If you give it time. So yeah, once again, this composition just isn't working out for them. Are you going for... you're going to go for tier 3. I mean, maybe Dreadnoughts? Would Dreadnoughts be a thing? Dreadnoughts to basically chase things around? You'd still need those skull probes there. The tank busters do not mess around with their damage. What are the Orks going to go for? There we go, flash kits. Look at that. You stare into the castle crystal ball for long enough and you're able to predict the future. The Crusaders just thinking, nah mate, you ain't taking our listing purse, we're going to get you if we could see you. But tank busters don't realise that they're not revealed, so they could just stay there if they wanted to. There we go, attach your skull probe to a unit. At least I think these skull probes are able to. Not sure if the Black Templar skull probes are different from any others. There we go, charge in. And we do have... are some of you guys equipped with shotguns? Is that what I can hear? I'm not sure if any of them were. But yeah, tank busters watching these guys mosey on their way. And now they're going to engage over here, but with the flash gates on the flanks, once they build up their numbers, they're just going to come in and absolutely cream these guys all over the face. With the biggest Dakar you've ever did seen. Not terrible range neither. Yeah, the moment Vrax sees these, it's time to go home and have another look at your stratagems. Oh dear, Crusade squad not being microed away. Ah, rest in peace. Remember their names in the litanies of the fallen. They've seen the writing on the wall. They were attempting a glorious last charge, but... oh, it's the neophytes I've got the shotguns. Shotgun's able to knock people on the backside, which is quite useful against close combat infantry. Oh, a Vindicator, that'd be a nice option. Almost getting killed by the double tank busters here, but wonderful range on this guy, so... well, I mean, when he's not firing at his own lads. Oh, he's... I see why he was done. He was attacking the ground. But, forgot to cancel that as the Black Templars were walking through. If anything, it was just training, you know. It's just... They call it a love tap in the Black Templar training circuit. How else are the initiatives and neophytes going to train into full-blown Space Marines if they don't get fired on by a Vindicator? Yeah, these Tank Busters are going to be made into mincemeat. The Orks could have been a little bit more aggressive here. I mean, 129 and 49 compared to 102 and 39, so... I mean, their economy's still a little bit better, but... could be doing a little bit more with this advantage at the moment. But in saying that, I mean... if they leave the base, the Black Templars will be able to surround them. There we go, one squad of flash gates being manoeuvred around in this war truck. See what he's doing. He's gonna avoid all these lads by keeping them in the war truck, and then when they've gone away, bring them back out. But with Vindicator online, it'll be a little bit more trickier. We do have a war boss. There we go, a mighty war boss on the field, able to use the power of the Wa. Which, whenever you say "wow" without shouting, it always makes me think of Waluigi. Wah. But anyway, that's beside the point, Mr. Landshark. DAMoclease online now. Now this dude, this little cat here, does a serious amount of AoE damage if it's able to fire. Actually, hitting a damn thing with a DAMoclease is quite difficult, but will be able to do it if they're careful. And this is actually prime real estate for a DAMoclease. Big shooters coming in, but a big explosion. Ah, beautiful. Look at that. Flash Gate's managing to avoid a good chunk of the damage by jumping in their war trucks and stuff, but Big Mech not as lucky. Stuck in the firing line. And this it must be one of the biggest orbital bombardment abilities in the game. When you compare it to like the Space Marine Commanders, it's just got to be. Got some Sword Brethren Terminators now. Going to be going for the assault cannons, so not going to focus on any close combat nonsense. They're going to stand on the back lines and open fire. And we've lost all the tank. Are you building up any more Tank Busters? No, you might need to get some more. Just for the sake of... yeah, okay, fair enough, the Flash Gates are good against generally everything, but you don't want this Vindicator up for any more length of times. If you're going for a primarily infantry-heavy base composition, Vindicators are your public enemy number one. The Shooter Boys over here, they're doing alright. Outranging this listening post. And Kubini getting that 2 minutes till taking hold victory, but that will be denied. Or will it be? Ooh. Has he got the ones over on yonder sides? He does indeed, sir. Black Templars will have to do something about that ASAP. Big float of blue and green for Kubini here as well. Could be investing in more weaponized lads. There we go, Tank Busters back online. Now we just need to get them back up. Flash Gates have been separated. That's not a terrible thing. Black Templar will have to split their focus while going on these lads, which will increase their overall DPS and movement speed. Tank Busters now moving in, and there is currently no vision or detection for these guys. Oh, there we go. We've got a scan coming in. I didn't know the Black Templars had a scan. Well, we do now. 1 minute to take an old victory there. Here come the Crusade squad coming in. Almost killing that Shooter Boy squad, but they don't really have time to muck about now. They've got to leave them to it, so that Shooter Boy squad will survive. Flash Gates over here being reduced to a very low number. Need to move these Flash Gates over here. Probably too busy trying to micro things, which is fair enough. There we go, one Vindicator. Almost taking out the entirety of that Flashgate squad. But now it's overextending just a smidgen. Tank Busters moving on the side. Will take it down. And yeah, the Black Templars have been fought off once again. Much better there. If they can keep their infiltration up... Oh, we've got a Reclusiarch Merrick Grimaldus with his very tasty looking melee Cenobites. There we go. John Cenobites. Armed with a fork and a dish. I like that. That's good. The flash kits are remaining strong. Double tank busters. Not seen that much. There we go. Some looted Imperium tanks. And a bunch of shooter boys that can't be just standing around here. While all this assaulting's been going on, the Orc player could have been doing a little bit of manoeuvring around the side. I did quite like what they were doing earlier with the tank busters, where they would take one squad and start bashing these... Whoops. Bashing these bits and bobs down here. But I suppose he's needed to keep everything back at home to defend against the Black Templars. That's fair enough. They've also lost a fair whack of war banners in that last push there. Sure boys over here now deciding to move in, but at the worst possible moment. Guys, I'm going to have to run away. Flash kits capturing the critical location in the middle. And these Crusaders now massing in number, 12 men in that squad. And this is looking quite vulnerable here. They could go for a little bit of another push, and to be fair, they've been pushing into this side so many times. The amount of war banners there, it's quite a difficult place to push, but over here there's just tons of room. Tons of room for activities. Looted Predator on the front lines. We'll be able to resist the damage of these guys quite nicely, but still you don't want to leave them in for too long, unsupported. One squad of flash kits coming in. Over on this side we've got some tank busters being defended by these... Or being repelled, sorry, by the Terminators. And there we go, flash kits everywhere. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. War Banner and Big Mech. Best friends forever. And the command squad might actually be wiped out here. Dear oh dear, that is emotional. That command squad's been here from day dot.
6 minutes until...
It's been around for time immemorial, and now they've gone. But okay, so what's the plan, Vrax? What are you going to go for? What's the alternative? How much money have you got? You've got enough money, but will it be? Do you have enough money to build up a brand new fighting force when the Orcs are close to moving in with double flash kits and double looted Predator tanks? You've got your Terminators, which aren't a bad choice. But not entirely sure what your other alternatives are. Going to go for another Castellan. Vindicator, there we go. Vindicator, that's the way forward. But against the looted Predator tanks... Ho-hum. How are you going to defend against this, young man? Oh, that was unfortunate. Big Mech teleporting in, but everyone was all crowded together. One-shotted more or less by the Vindicator. But they have activated their fighting juice. Oh, sorry, that's not fighting juice. That is a war going on from the war boss. Some assault Terminators. Now, if these guys are fast enough to catch up with the flash kits, that'd be a good idea. I don't think they're fast enough. Gonna see another DAMoclease. Oh, and this is spelling trouble now. Stomper coming in. Black Templars are going to do their best, but now it's the Orcs' turn to do some invading of their own. Finally getting some revenge here. Tank busters on the side, opening fire. And the Vindicator won't be surviving for very long. Some regular sword brothering Terminators moving back over towards the engagement. And to be fair, they're actually not doing too bad. They've shimmied away some of these flash kits. Yeah, the DAMoclease and the Tuva tank has gone down, but Terminators at the very least are holding quite nicely. And if these guys can kill all the support for the Stomper will either have to run away or basically die. One looted tank going to go down. Terminator's coming around the side. Flash gets kind of been pulled back, trying to avoid these sword brethren Terminators. There we go, give him a firing line. But these Terminators just aren't going down. These are quite robust and sturdy boys. Although focusing on that Stomper, probably not what you want to do. You want to... What is the old MMORPG saying? You've got to tank and spank. You've got to kill the ads first before start tanking the big bad. Well, in saying that, Terminators are now being shot up every which way. Command Squad now coming in. Well, these tank busters are having a field day. Barely perceptible to the augmented human eye. And that is a full army wipe right there. All things considered. And is there anything else you could do? You are going to go for Grimaldus once again. Another Vindicator. But as the Orks walk in, it is looking desperate for the Black Templars here. But yeah, I think that, like I said earlier on, that the assaults that they were doing early on would have worked a lot better, I think, if they had one dedicated ranged unit to start focus firing on bits and bobs while the Crusaders were moving into close combat. Because, I mean, that's the biggest problem with your melee combat units, is that you're not constantly doing damage, unlike their ranged counterparts. You can always go like a full range composition, but it's very rare that you ever see a composition work where it's full melee. Unless, of course, you're Dark Eldar and you have the witches do the combat stimulants and you just blooming Usain Bolt everywhere. But hey-ho, Vrax throws out the GG. It was a very well-fought game from both players. That, like I said, the assaults going on around here, very, very close, some of them. But those shooter boys, man, holding that line, and when the flash hits came out, that was one of the nails, one of the final nails in the coffin, it has to be said. Cool, if you want to support the channel, £1 a month does get you one extra game a week, and also there is a Discord where all the good things happen, linked in the description below. I'll see you in a bit. Peace.